Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. So today I want to talk about Panther mounts, and obviously we went over the Sky Golem one, and that's a really easy one to just get into motion. Now there obviously are different types of things, so let's cover that first. The Sky Golem mount, just to be clear, the materials can be sourced either through farming through the Valley of the Four Winds, and also can be farmed up through the Tillier's farm. The Tillier's farm, however, is done in the Heartland, which is in the Valley of the Four Winds again. And if we move over on our map over here, we go over to the Valley of the Four Winds, and it's right at Heartland. Basically, all you have to do is go over there and there will be a series of chain quests. I will cover this at a later date in depth, but mainly it is setting up a little farm in which you can plant some vegetables in order to get a hold of Trillium and Ghost Iron ore on the daily. It's kind of like your garrison before garrisons were a thing in MOP. So that being the case, there is the other way of getting a hold of Ghost Iron ore, and that is buying it off the auction house, which is the method we went for with our Sky Golem. Once I've actually fully set up my Tillier's farm, I'll show you how to do it then. Aside from that, let's get on to Panthers. Now, Panther mounts are by far one of my most favourite mounts, and that is actually what the mounts in which I started making the majority of my gold. And obviously I did start with the Vial of the Sands, but these were the secondary ones in which I did. So we go over to Panthers, and Panther mounts can be crafted through an array of different things. So we'll have to type in Panther again, and Panther mounts, obviously TSM is valuing them at like 4,000 gold. You can make for a profit 4,000 gold, 3,000 gold, 2,800, and there's another one which is the Jeweled Onyx Panther, which is 15,583 gold. But besides from all of that, you have the 4 Panther mounts, which is the Jade, Ruby, Sapphire and Sunstone Panthers. These ones are the basic ones in which you need to craft. The Jeweled Onyx, however, is crafted by one of each. So you need to craft all 4 of them and then turn them into the Jeweled Onyx, which you then can sell on the auction house. Now, aside from all of that, the other things of note that I would like to state is how do we go about crafting them if we want to increase our profit for these? Well, the answer is simple. We farm to craft. Now, judging by this, we can't get out of the Orb of Mystery. The Orb of Mystery is bought from the Big Keech vendor located in the Valley of the Four Winds, and I think it's only fitting that I show you now. Now, the Valley of the Four Winds is obviously he is not in the Valley of the Four Winds, he's in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. And basically all you have to do is just go where your actual faction is. So obviously mine will be the Shrine of the Seven Stars, and all I have to do is fly over to like this area, around this area here, and you will see a vendor called Big Keech. It's basically, he walks around the area that blew up. So it's about here. So probably outgoing it right there. But what you have to do is the Orb of Mystery is the first one, and that is a 20,000 gold investment into the Orb of Mystery. Now you can reduce the price in which the Orb of Mystery is basically bought for. I believe it's with the Golden Lotus. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section down below, but I believe that the Golden Lotus reduces the cost of the Orb of Mystery. Now, the Living Steel can be crafted for a few ways. You can either do it for Riddle Steel with 3 Trillium bars and 3 Spirits of Harmony, and that is on a no cooldown. You can do that as many times as you want to create Living Steel. Now, you can also do it with the 6 Trillium bars on a daily cooldown for Living Steel. Now, obviously, you can craft the Living Steel through the daily cooldown and do it as such. Now, obviously, we're using one of our alchemists to do a daily cooldown for the Living Steel, so we're probably not going to touch that method. We still need to keep up production with our Pyrian bars, so we don't want to miss out on our Vial of the Sands. So once that sells, all we need to do is then make sure that we've got all those Pyrian bars set aside for the Vial of the Sands. So The only two options in which we're going to be able to get hold of our living steel is by either buying it off the auction house or sourcing it off the auction house, and or using the riddle steel method. Now, the riddle steel method requires you to have 3 spirits of harmony and 3 trillium bars. Now, trillium bars can be easily crafted through ghost iron ore using your alchemist. You can transmute this into 1 trillium bar, which is 10 ghost iron bars to every 1 trillium bar. Aside from all of that, it would actually cost you to create all 4 living steels through riddle steel 12 spirits of harmony and 120 ghost iron bars, or 240 ghost iron ore. Now, the ghost iron ore is not the hard part, it is the spirits of harmony. Now, you can source this by doing like about half an hour's worth of farming in the Valley of the Four Winds for all of that ghost iron ore for 1 Panther mount's worth of living steel. And with the spirits of harmony, I'm probably going to cover it in the video tomorrow, because we're going to be starting to source the other types of materials, but it is the Mogoshan vaults for the spirits of harmony, which I believe Archvelder actually covered a while back. The only other thing that is probably going to be surrounded by ghost iron ore is pretty much everything when it comes to the Panther mounts. Obviously, you have to get the wild jade. We'll take the jade Panther, for instance, as we're on it. We need wild jade, and wild jade is a rare item in which you get from prospecting. Now, there are ways around getting hold of wild jade, and there are ways around getting Serpent's Eye. Now, the way in which you get hold of Serpent's Eye, which is actually valued at really, really high, at 261 gold each, that's pretty damn high. What you can do to reduce the amount of gold you're spending if you went and bought the Serpent's Eye is by prospecting a load of ghost iron ore. On most realms, ghost iron ore sells for pretty much nothing, so it's cheaper to buy it off the auction house and prospect it for the Serpent's Eye and for a chance of getting hold of any of the other gems that come along with it. Now, prospecting the Serpent's Eye, you will get quite a lot of these Serpent's Eyes from the sparkling shards, and once you've got 10, you click it, it turns into a Serpent's Eye. Now, aside from all of that, there are other ways in which you can do this. You can obviously go over to the Spirits of Harmony vendor, which is in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, and we can just buy that. So what we could do is buy some Spirits of Harmony, or if we were farming the Spirits of Harmony, we can go over to the Spirits of Harmony vendor and buy out our Serpent's Eye for a 1-to-1 ratio. The Spirits of Harmony are going for about 50 gold on my realm, so I can save a 210 gold just by buying some Spirits of Harmony and trading them into the vendor, saving me 400 gold in the crafting cost. Now, TSM doesn't take that into consideration when you're doing your crafting, so it's always something to keep an eye on. Now, another way in which you can produce the gems, which is what leaves us with our last few things, is something to do with alchemy. So we're going to jump over to our alchemist. As we're on our alchemist once again, to be honest, it always revolves around the alchemist. Alchemy is a great profession to just have straight off the bat. You can make great gold in current content and in old world content, so always have an alchemist on your characters. But other than that, let's get into Pandaren, and we're going to go down to transmutes. Now, we can see that we can craft the living steel. Obviously, I've already done my living steel for the day, and it's 270 gold for the living steel. Now, aside from that, there is a way in which we can reduce the cost of the gems, which usually is not actually taken into consideration. And that is the Pandaren garnets. We're going to go over to the wild jade, and we need some wild jade. So obviously it's going to cost us about 79 gold on the min buyout for the wild jade. We don't really want to spend that much. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy some Alexandrite and some Golden Lotus. Now, Golden Lotus on my realm is roughly around about 14 gold for one, and Alexandrite is about 10 gold per one. So add them together, that's about 24 gold for something that costs 79 gold. And Alexandrite actually comes from the prospecting, so you can use all the other gems that you got from prospecting to get your Serpent's Eye for a very cheap price, of course. You can then turn that into the Wild Jade, in which you need 20 of those, and you need 20 of all of them in which to craft your Panther mount. So for a Jade Panther, you need 20 Wild Jade. I will buy out the Alexandrite, or I'll use the Alexandrite from our prospecting in order to get a hold of enough for our Wild Jade. Now, we could obviously buy this off the auction house, but there is another way in which we can source the Golden Lotus if it's cheap enough. Now, a while back, from when I very first started my channel, I actually released a video which was my second one, called the Spirit of Harmony flip. And this is where I would buy Spirits of Harmony, and I would then go over to the Spirit of Harmony vendor once again, and I would buy out 2 Golden Lotus for every 1 Spirit of Harmony, and I made a lot of gold through that with the Potion of Luck when that was still active. Now, the thing of note here is how much is the Spirits of Harmony. I know for a fact on my realm at this moment in time, it's about 50 gold. So really, if we wanted to source this for the Golden Lotus, we could spend 50 gold for a Spirit of Harmony and get 2 Golden Lotus, costing us around about 25 gold, and 25 gold plus 10 gold is 35 gold, and that's still a hell of a lot cheaper than the 80 odd gold that we will be spending for a Wild Jade on the auction house. This is a nice little flip, and I did actually cover this a while back in my 100k in 5 minutes video, which was very clickbaity, I know, but the concept was just transmuting it through these cheap materials in order to make as many as you want. Now, you're probably wondering if it's got a cooldown. It does not. You can make as much Wild Jade, Sun's Radiance, River's Heart, or Primordial Ruby as much as you want. And all of those gems that I just listed here were the ones in which we will be using to make our Panther mounts. So that being the case, how are we going to be sourcing this? Now, living steel is relatively cheap on my realm, and it's actually cheaper than the crafting cost. I just realized this, so we're going to have to keep with our smelted ghost iron ore at this moment in time, but here is the lowdown. It will cost us roughly around about 1,000 gold for our 4 living steels, so I'm happy to invest that all onto our Panther mount. So that's going to cost us 1,000 gold, and for our living steel, so we'll buy that off the auction house, we'll source it off the auction house. And then we will spend 20,000 gold for our Orb of Mystery, coming at 21,000 gold. Then for our Serpent's Eye, we will buy it through Spirits of Harmony, which will be 100 gold, saving us 400 gold on the initial craft on that. So 100 gold. So at the moment, it comes to a rough value of around about 21,100 gold. 21,100 gold. So 21,100 gold, we need our gems. So how am I going to do this? Obviously, I'm going to be sourcing this through either Spirits of Harmony farms, through the Moguchon vaults, and any remaining ones I will be buying them off the auction house at a relatively cheap price in order to craft our Panther mounts. So if we went and bought like things like the Wild Jade for 1,600 gold, and then we crafted that into the mount, we could obviously craft the mount for a very cheap price at that, but we can also reduce the cost even more by using the transmutes. So obviously we calculated it just a few minutes ago, which was 35 gold for 1 River's Heart instead of 80 gold, and we times that by the amount we want, which is 20, and that will come to 700 gold. So 700, so we've made a considerable dip in that. It's like 900 gold less than what we were wanting to spend. So 700 plus 20,000, and then plus 1,000 gold, and then plus 100 for our Serpent's Eye, and then that gives us a nice total of 21,800 gold to craft the Panther mount. And we can craft a Jade Panther for about 21,800 gold, and only 20,000 of that is the Orb of Mysteries. So really we're only spending 1,800 gold on one Panther mount, which the Panther mounts at this moment in time are selling for roughly around about 30,000 to 35,000 gold, and we're only investing 21,800 gold. So we'll be making a huge amount more profit than as we would through our crafting through TSM. So these nice little tips with getting hold of leveraging our Spirits of Harmony vendor to craft the gems, use the Golden Lotus, we can then reduce the cost. So we could spend 1,800 gold to basically create all of our Panther mounts, and then all we would have to do there is just wait until we've got the 20,000 gold to invest. So we'll be sourcing all of those materials as of tonight, and then we'll be doing a follow-up video on how we're going to go about getting the rest of the stuff. I will show the other different types of methods in the video tomorrow about how to go about farming it from scratch if you really wanted to, and how we would source all of the Spirits of Harmony. Aside from all of that, guys, let's go on to the gold for the day, which the gold for the day will be 51,432 gold. We sold another vial of the sands, so pretty damn happy with that. We can now start investing in more mounts, and now we can start working on the other different types of mounts, such as the Panther mounts. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to send over to Zathrash, my alchemist, who makes the vial of the sands, and there we go. We'll send 29,000 over to make the next vial of sands, and we are currently left with 33,101 gold. You can see it slowly rising up as we are selling more mounts. Obviously the mechanized chopper has not sold, but we can still make more. Now obviously we've still got quite a lot on the auction house. I'm struggling to post stuff on the auction house at the moment. So obviously when I'm on the auction house at the moment, it's like saying it's going to go over a U-Haul. Anything that you are going to post will be sent to your mailbox earlier than expected, and your deposit will be lost. So I don't understand what's going on there. I'm probably just going to hold out for the day until the overhaul of the new auction house is implemented tomorrow, as obviously I'm EU, so it happens tomorrow for me. So aside from all of that, we have 33,000 gold to source all of our materials for our Panther mounts. Now at 1,800 gold to craft one Panther mount, we can actually craft 18 mounts. But thinking about it, we do need to spend 20,000 gold. So do we want to source all of the mats first, or do we want to make sure that we can get a mount on the auction house? My idea is we are going to make another vial of the sands using the materials we've already sourced, and we will then buy out all the mats, because usually there's a fluctuation in the market whenever a new patch comes in and everything starts elevating. So this is probably the best time for me to buy all of these mat prices before they fluctuate back up again, and then we will hold on until we sell another mount, giving us another 20,000 gold. So I'm probably going to be spending the 33,000 gold we already have to craft the mounts, and we'll still have a vial of the sands and mechanized chopper on the auction house. And when that one sells next for another 21,000 gold profit, we can then use that 20,000 gold to make one of the Panther mounts, and then so on and so forth. And then after those ones sold, we'll craft the 2 of the others, and then 3 of the others, then 4, and then we'll have 4 on the auction house all the time. So that being the case, that is how I like to do it with the Panther mounts. And so that being the case, that is how I like to go about getting started with the Panther mounts and how you can set up yourself. Aside from all of that, guys, remember that the fundraiser is still going on till the 31st. If you want to donate, the link is in the description down below. Other than that, guys, have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which is tomorrow. Have an awesome day, guys, and I shall see you soon.